Hello, Revere, and welcome to our Revere Veterans and Community Show. Today we have a special guest. He's been on before, but we could have him on 100 times, and that still wouldn't be enough. His name is Terminiello Jr. Al, thank you for
Good morning here. It's the morning.
No,
oh, good evening.
Good day.
Good day. Good day.
Al,
we'll cover it all.
Al, I mean, to read the accolades here, we wouldn't have time to do the show, so I'm going to be brief.
Go ahead. Be brief, Morris, please.
Thank you.
Do the world a favor.
Okay. Al is co-chairman of the Revere Veterans Council. He's also a member of the American Legion. He's a member of the Revere Allied Veterans Council. He's a photographer for the Advocate of 12 years. But before we go further down the line, tell us about your co-chairman. How did the Veterans Committee start, Revere Veterans?
Ira Novoselsky and I started that. Well, it's a little over 8 years now that we started that program. We were sitting around talking about things that we wanted to accomplish, and basically we realized that the city of Revere had stopped its Veterans Day celebration. There wasn't much going on with few things there, and we wanted to do something that could help. So we came up with the idea to have a spaghetti and meatball dinner, and we were going to try to cook it ourselves and do this and that for Veterans Day.
Was that just for Italian veterans?
Yeah, and we tried to we try to bring that out as the first time that we're going to have something in about. It was like 5 or 6 years that they hadn't even done anything for the Veterans Day. So we put this dinner on, and we had about 50 or 60 people show up, which was
that's a good crowd.
What we expected. And then it sort of kind of grew. We've done a few things. We planned things better. Now we have Chinese food. We have this, and I'm proud to say that after the first couple of years, we now have almost a little over 200 people attending our services for Veterans Day, which I'm very proud that we do that. We have entertainment. We have a great feed. The thing that I like the best about it is that we bring in, this year we didn't, it was a mix-up, but it will never happen again, and I promise those guys this, at the Chelsea Soldiers Home. We bring in a couple of tables full of vets and residents from the Chelsea Soldiers Home. We treat them like they should be treated, and they have the time in their lives at that day. It's their day, and it's the Veterans Day, and it's the best thing. And so I was heartbroken about that, but again, that's something that can be fixed. But I'm proud to say that we now offer a scholarship at Revere High School, $250 to a student that's pursuing a military career.
Excellent.
So much not maybe for academics, but we give them a couple $100 in cash. And whether it buys him an iPod or something that or the last night out with his friends, whatever he does with it, or she does with it, they earned it because that's what it is.
Before you continue, I got to tell you. First of all, let me thank you for what you just said, because the seniors, the Revere High School, the students are coming over to our senior center with the iPads to teach us how to work them.
Yeah, no.
So if you're donating the money, thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, we donated whatever we can do to help. But so we started with that. We have entertainment, and then of course that went into our barbecues in front of the Legion for the holidays.
Right.
Unfortunately, I must say the barbecues. We do have a handful of people who always come. That hasn't really grown out as much, and we could certainly use some more help, because after 8 years, guys like my father and some of the other guys that were older, I'm going to use that word, that were helping out, were in their 80s then, and now it's 8 years later, so they're hitting 90s.
90, right?
It's a long day. So if we could get some more help, we could expand that. Ira and I do what we can, but again, it's all done for just to help and have a good time.
Tell them if they want to volunteer, how they get a
hold of you.
They want to
volunteer.
Tell them how to get a hold of you.
You can call me at 781-244-7430. Go down to the American Legion building on Broadway, walk in and say, I need to reach Al or Ira, and I want to volunteer. And I'm sure somebody will help you out, and we'll be eternally grateful. Believe me, we could use some new blood, as they say, to get things going for this coming year. We're hoping to do more. There's a couple of projects that you and I have discussed, and then a couple of things that Ira and I have discussed. we can't do that without help. It just doesn't work anymore. It gets too complicated, and it's not for lack of money. We don't have any, but we can find it. The elected officials, the Bob DeLeos, at the time Kathy Reinsteins, Mayor Rizzo, everybody, they're all on the bandwagon to help us when we ask for a few dollars. So that's not the issue. So if it's money, you think you're going to give me money, you don't have to give me money. You're going to give me something that's worth more than money.
And what is that?
Your time.
Okay.
Okay, so as far as that's my plug for that. So anybody who wants to help out, I can use the help.
Okay, number two, I would like to talk. You're also a member of the Revere Allied Veterans Council. Tell us something about that.
Well, you're the president.
I know that, but I'd rather have you.
The one and only president that we've had. I think that's a great idea that we had, that any organization, no matter how good and how worthy it seems, once there's more of those same organizations, there seems to be problems. That's true with anything, because they want, who's running this thing, who's running that thing, who's running this thing.
We don't have that problem with us.
And anybody, right. We have two things going for us. Number one, we have a fantastic president that's in charge of this whole matter. And two, everybody that sits on that council are the ones that do anything anyway. So before we do anything, we check with the other guys to see if they're doing anything, and we never kind of overlap each other. So it's good for that reason. It keeps the lines of communication open, and it makes every veteran organization, which I'm glad we have several in this city.
Right.
It keeps every one of them informed of what the right hand and what the left hand is doing, and it helps generate more people to come to everybody's event. So it's a good thing. I agree with that 100%. I sometimes I don't make as many meetings, but I'm kept informed of what's going on.
But
again, it's for the lines of communication. It's great.
Let me add 2 cents to that, to the Veterans Allied Council. Mayor Dan Rizzo has parties, and he lets me collect money for the troops. I ask him, and he says, "Go ahead, Morris." And he mentioned to me but he told me not to say this to anyone, so this is strictly between you and I.
Between me and you? Okay. I won't say a word.
Okay, don't say a word. He says the reason he has these functions like St. Patrick's or birthdays, it's not because of the parties, but it's for me to go around to collect money for the troops.
I can see that.
So thank you, Mayor. So thank you for letting me do that.
Mayor Rizzo's been helping us out.
He's a veteran.
Yeah, on top of being a veteran, his son's a veteran, and
his dad is a veteran.
Yeah, and right now I'm going to come here for the first time, and I'm going to proudly say that, from what I understand right now, my grandson is going into the Navy.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so that's coming up. He's going to be joining the Navy, I think, after June. I think right after in July is
What's
when
his name, by the way?
His name is Anthony D'Angelo, and I love him to death. And I'm proud to death of him. He's 19. So
good luck, Anthony.
Right now, he chose that. He came to me and talked to me about it. And people look at me when I tell them this, that I think today, probably one of the best choices a young man can have if he doesn't have a family business,
right, is
the military. And I know there's the way things are in the world, but it's our country. It's our men and women who've made it our country of what it is. And there's only one way to keep it that way, is to keep young men and women involved in making our country great. Unfortunately, there are people in the rest of the world that don't agree with our way of life. Well, too bad.
Exactly. And by the way, I want to say to your grandson, Anthony D'Angelo, thank you for going into the service, and God bless you and take good care of you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So this is a World War II veteran speaking to a young veteran. Yeah, thank you.
I'm very, very, very happy that he chose that, and we'll see what happens. But
now, before we continue, we give flags to veterans who have served in the military to come on our show. But we have to make an exception in your case, because you do so much for us. You really do. Over the years, and we're not talking 1 year, 2 years, we're talking 10, 12 years. So we'd like to present you a flag on behalf of the Revere Veterans Service, the Revere Allied Veterans Council, Stop and Shop, and the Revere Police and Fire Department.
Any veteran who received one of these, I can't even begin to even measure up to that. But from the bottom of my heart, for this flag, for what it means to me as a citizen of the United States of America, and knowing what veterans have done to give America my home. I appreciate it, and thank you, and it means the world to me.
You know, I usually say to a veteran, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for your service.
It's my pleasure to do that.
Okay, the next question I got for you. You work for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Department of Public Safety, and tell us about that.
Well, I've been there for 3.5 years, and I work for a division of it called Mass EDP. We give out free telephones, TTY phones, cordless phones, any device that of people with a person with a permanent handicap to help them communicate with the outside, whether that be if they have cognitivity issues, blindness, mobility issues, whatever. Anybody's entitled to a free telephone, not the service. You have to pay for the service. This is the physical phone.
Oh, the phone itself.
The phone itself. It's not the service.
Right.
You have to supply your own service. But we do have different phones, big button telephones for people with
the
like
smartphones.
They're not cell phones. These are home phones.
Oh, okay.
You have to have a landline to attach it.
Right.
But they have very large numbers for people with like macular degeneration or so forth. Or they have Braille on them for people who are blind.
Hearing impaired people that they have.
They're amplified telephones, so they get very loud.
Good.
And we have flashes and ringers and all kinds of stuff. It's all free. It's all part of if you look at your phone bill, it'll say E911 tax 65 cents. That 65 cents pays for this program. This program is free. You do need to fill out an application, which you can go online and get the numbers at Mass EDP. I don't want people; they'll never remember them all.
If they want to call you out, can they do that too?
They can call. They can call me, and I'll give you the numbers. But it's Mass EDP. Just look that up in the computer. Google that, and they'll give you the information on how to fill out the application. Or you can get the application online, and do it that way.
Okay. And you also mentioned beside the telephone, like people that are handicapped beside the telephone, like not wheelchairs, but canes if they need.
That is through the Masonic. The Masons have free programs. If people, again, this is just public information. The lodge in Wakefield it used to be Converse Lodge in Malden, had a full type of accessories, walkers, canes, bathroom accessories, shower accessories. Now that's all moved up to Wakefield. And I think it's on Salem Street in Wakefield.
Right. But Revere City Hall, I think, has...
Revere City Hall is some too, but up there they have beds, and I don't know how much they have at Revere City Hall, but there's quite a few things, and that's free. So, especially for people who can't afford, those things are expensive.
I know that.
And at the Masonic Lodge, like I say, in Wakefield is the one it took over all the stuff. They do that on Saturday afternoons. You can reach them online. I don't know the phone numbers. I'm not.
They can look it up online or information.
Right, but it's the Masonic Lodge in Wakefield. And I'm sorry, if we wanted to talk about this stuff, I would have brought the phone numbers. But it's easy enough to find. But that's free stuff. And the word, those are things that matter. They're not something that you take lightly, because I've been in a car accident. I know. So
I was going to talk to you about that.
The last 3 months, I've been in a wheelchair, and I'm just getting around on crutches right now, and I'm still out of work. I can't drive. I have to be driven around, and God bless my girlfriend Rose for driving me around and lugging a wheelchair around for me. So I have a new. I have a new thing that I'm going to be doing, and I realize just how important handicap ramps are for people, and handicap accessibility into public buildings, and handicap bathrooms, and just about anything that makes life easier. And you don't have to be totally handicapped, but people, as some of our seniors are getting older, they become handicapped because of mobility issues and so forth. Things need to be changed. I have a couple of projects that I decided that I was going to work on, because I found myself having problems because of being in a wheelchair.
You want to talk about those projects?
No, right now I don't want to, because I got the people that I'm dealing with. I've brought it to their attention. Obviously, I've been laid up for most of the last 12 weeks. But I brought it to their attention, and I intend to meet with them and get them on board and tell them what I want to do. And so right now I just rather keep them quiet, but to the benefit of the community. They're not to benefit any one individual. These are things that I've turned over and found that I didn't like.
Al,
and I want to try to help that.
I'm glad you mentioned handicap, because I'll tell you why. They're going to be doing some renovations at our senior center in the back, where they had just the stairs. So there was no way for a handicapped person to get up, with a handicapped ramp. So if they're going to fix the back, maybe they'll put a handicapped ramp on there, because, like you said, Al, we're not getting younger, we're getting older.
Whether you're on a cane, crutches, or walker, or a wheelchair, it's not easy getting upstairs. Ramps are the way they are, and people's knees are worn out. Whatever it takes. I feel like a newborn Christian over here.
That's all right.
But the thing is, sometimes you got to walk a mile in somebody's shoes to realize that. I had a deep appreciation for handicapped people. I always worked with handicapped people and tried to help them out, whether it's been the Revere League for Special Needs, the job that I do, or just in general. It was always something foremost. But the last 3 months, seeing what my friends and family have had to do for me to get me around, to be at certain places up until this point, I have a deeper appreciation for things that need to be done to address the problems. And it can't always be about money. Sometimes you gotta belly up to the bar and pay the tab.
Right.
So in behalf of myself, I'm not handicapped, but I'm just kind of disabled right now. On behalf of everybody there, I am really going to try to put forward my best foot forward and try to get some better handicap accessibility to public buildings and in and out of the building. So you have my word on that. Again, I'll give you my phone number. Anybody wants to call me, it's 781-244-7430. Again, you want to help? You got information? I've been becoming deadly with the ADA and all that. So there's the things I got work on. If you have any questions or problems that I can help you with, fire away.
Okay, Al, next. You are working for the Advocate. You've been with them 12 years.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well,
and one thing, tell us about your most interesting photograph that you took.
I have a lot of interesting photographs. I've been very fortunate in my career. I've been a photographer for over 30 years. I was a trained forensic photographer for the medical examiner's department for 8 years.
Wow.
I did crime scene work. I've been on the Cops episode of Cops on TV. I've been on there 3 times. And,
And they haven't arrested you
yet?
No,
they haven't caught up to me yet.
Okay.
I was involved in one of the largest sting operations in the city of Boston.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. In the nutshell, I think we arrested, I didn't arrest anybody, but I was there. I was part of the crew. I think it was over 350 people in 4 hours for outstanding warrants. What we did is we set up a movie studio, and anybody who had an outstanding warrant, they sent them a telegram telling them that they were picked to be extras and they would be getting $200 to be in a movie.
I got one of them.
So they all showed up, and they had me out front with all my camera gear, taking pictures and kind of being like the set director. And it was a fake set, and I mean it's been on TV, and that was 20 years ago. And they brought them in, and they were all standing waiting to get their check, and they got all handed their warrants for arrest. And we did it in 3 different sets. 3 different time zones, so that way, because they just kept bringing them in, so nobody could get out on bail and tell anybody. And they wiped them out, and it's been on Cops a couple of times. I thought that was kind of an interesting experience. I've been involved with some of the most devastating murder scenes in Boston. I was involved with the...
Did you ever get with a Whitey Bulger murder scene?
I don't want to discuss names.
Okay, but I did.
I've been involved in just about, at the time I was there from 72 to 80. So all the things that happened there, I was involved in the identification of the Delta 88 plane crash.
Oh, yes.
Myself and at the time his name was Stanley Schwartz. He was one of the out of Tufts University. He was one of the leading forensic dentists. Him and myself were put in, basically locked in a refrigerator truck. And we didn't come out until we identified everybody that we could. so I've had kind of an interesting career, how things have led me through to be where I am today. And I'm very glad. So I have a bunch of interesting ones. But speaking of interesting ones, I noticed we have...
I call that Betsy Ross.
Betsy Ross. I don't think Betsy Ross had quite the dress like that, and a doll here. What's the story with them?
Let me tell you about these dolls. We have a woman at the senior center. Her name is Alice Griffin, and she does dolls, and she gets paid for that. But all the money that she donates to the senior center, and they buy on to make hats for the troops.
The liners.
The liners for the troops on there.
My mother's making some.
Right.
My mother's made a few of them.
Alice. First of all, I want to thank you for this doll, by the
Bring
way.
a close-up in on the doll. You don't need to see me.
Right. Well, you're a doll, too. Okay. There you go, Alice. Now, Alice donates all the money. She makes the doll, she sews it up, and that's what she does. That's her business. So, Alice, thank you. And I want to thank a special lady, by the way, Miss Lois Diamond. I'm sure you know her.
Oh, I think I've heard the name once or twice in my life. Yeah, she's a fabulous lady. I'm proud to have her as one of my friends. Lois is a fantastic lady. She does everything from the heart.
Okay, now I got to come to you, which you didn't mention, so I'm going to do it for you.
What I didn't mention, okay.
Right, you have a lovely daughter, Jennifer?
Yes, I have two daughters, but you know Jennifer.
No, I know Jennifer very well.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about your, because Jennifer does a lot with you, what you do for us.
She does anything I ask of her, and she better. No.
What do you mean she better?
She's a wonderful girl. She's been, she just stands by me in everything that I do. She's community oriented. She works for the Revere School Department. She works at the Stop and Shop.
Yep, that I know. I've seen her there.
And I think she does her networking through the Stop and Shop, and then comes back and lets me know what's going on around it. And she's involved in just about anything that I am. And I'm proud to death that she's my daughter. I couldn't ask for anything better. We do have our moments, but she's a great kid, and I love her to death. And like I said, nobody knows my other daughter because she lived in Woburn.
What's her name, by the way?
Her name is Jody.
Yep.
And she's moved back to Revere right now, so she'll be around.
Good. Welcome home, Jody.
So, but yeah, everybody got to know Jennifer because Jennifer's been a lifelong resident here at Revere. And Jennifer's daughter, my granddaughter Ashley, whose birthday is today. So, happy birthday to my granddaughter Ashley, who's, God, I'm going to get this wrong and they're going to kill me.
No age.
Good, because I'm torn between what one it is.
Don't mention an age, though.
But, she's a graduate of Revere High School.
Oh, good.
And she's doing great. So, again, thanks for mentioning my kids and my because my daughters, I love them to death.
Al, I've always been curious. How did you and Ira Novoselsky, maybe you might now not know it, but he used to be the president of the Revere City Council up to...
Oh, I've known Ira for a long time.
How did you first get started together with this?
I never really liked Ira. I really want you to know that.
You shouldn't say that on TV. No, I won't.
We never really got along.
Don't edit this out.
No, Ira and I don't know how we met. We just kind of started talking to each other right along, like anything else. People who have the same goals outside. Now, and again, I'm going to say this, and I say this to people. Ira and I are outside of politics are inseparable. Sometimes we don't get along on the other side of the coin. But that's fine because everybody's entitled to their opinions and to in their views.
Right. That's why we have America.
That's what it's called, America.
Right.
Okay. I will never hold anybody's personal views or opinions against them. Far be it, never mind my friends, because believe me, I wouldn't have any friends if they held my political views against me.
You got one right here. I'll prove it to you.
Thanks.
Okay, you got one right here.
Ira and I knew that we had the same common goals for the community, and we pulled our best resources and put our heads together, and we're a great team.
Right.
And he's a really good friend to me. He calls, checked on me, see how I'm doing, if he can do anything. He comes over at my house and visits my parents on Christmas. That for all the Jews that are out there, let them know that he's.
Do we have Jews in Revere?
There's one or two.
Okay.
we really are the best of friends.
That's good.
And like I said, he comes over and he can't do enough visiting with my parents, and he's got his own problems too. His wife Shelley's been sick, and I call her to see how she's doing, and she's a lovely lady. So it's just been one of those relationships that we've gotten a lot out of for each other, but we've accomplished an immensely amount of things for the community, which is what we started out to do. So we're pretty proud of what we do.
Okay, Al, before we close, I'd like to say a few words.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
By the way, folks, excuse me, we have an email. Now, you saw a special guest we have today. If you know anyone out there that's as good as Al, let them come on our show. If you know any veteran that would like to come on, you can email us at rvc@reveretv.org. I'll repeat that again. It's rvc@reveretv.org. And we'd love to hear from you. If you have any suggestions how to improve the show, let us know. And like I say, if you have a veteran out there who would like to come on, or a community veteran who has not been in the military, we'd love to have him. And so, Al, with this, I want to thank you for coming.
Morris, it's been a pleasure, as always. Always. The people of Revere, I love the city. I love everybody out here. I continue to work to do what I can. But thank you very much for this. It's an honor to be put in, like I said, in the same shoes. But
Right,
again,
so God bless you.
Thank you very much.
God bless your grandson, Anthony.
Thank you very much.
God bless our troops, the city of Revere, and especially our great country, the United
States of America.
Right, and thank you all for listening. Until the next time we see each other, thank you.